Thursday, October 3rd.
Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park, where we are into our Superbikes at New Jersey coverage here this weekend. It is time for the second and final qualifying session for the Steel Commander Superbike category. But before we get bikes out onto the racetrack, let's get down to Joe with our Supersport pole sitter. Joe?
Thank you, Jamie. Matthew Stoltz there, getting it right on the final lap. You go into race one with the championship at stake as pole sitter. How does that sound?
I mean, that feels really, really good. Obviously, yesterday qualified sixth, and that wasn't good for us. Jersey's quite a difficult, tighter circuit. You know, it's hard to make passes. So I'm just glad that we qualified pole. And, you know, granted, if PJ wins, I've got to finish top four. So that's the goal for us today.
Excellent. Well, fantastic riding. We wish you the best of luck later. Back to you, Jamie and Roger.
Controlling everything he can on way to his championship. Let's take a look at the highlights, Roger, from Superbikes at Dakota.
Yeah, great start by Josh Herron, and actually all those races all weekend. Ken Bobier, Sean Dillon Kelly, these three right here was kind of the show of the weekend in the Superbike class. Ezra Bobier had an engine failure there, red flag came out. We had a restart, and it's kind of the same thing again. Josh Herron leads into turn one with Ken Bobier, Sean Dillon Kelly. Right there as well, see Sean makes a move on Ken Bobier early on. Cam fights right back. I think Cam wanted to get to the front, show some pace that he's had all weekend, maybe try to build a gap, but Josh Herron would not let that happen. Every time Cam Bobier made a pass, Josh was able to fight right back. Sean Dillon Kelly was also there. But look at that pass into the last corner that Josh Herron was able to make, and then down the long back straightaway that BMW was able to make the draft pass, and for there, Cam Bobier pulled out a little bit of a gap over Josh Herron and Sean Dillon Kelly.
It was the second win of the weekend for Cameron Bobier, with 3 races being held back at Circuit of the Americas, and it allowed him to claw his way back into the championship points conversation up into second place. But you see it's 46 points behind Josh Herron.
Yeah, and 46 points. There's 50 up for grabs for the weekend. So Josh has got to be feeling pretty comfortable going into this weekend, but with racing, you never know.
No, you certainly can't race on paper. You've got to do that out on the racetrack. And we've had one qualifying session so far. That was yesterday afternoon. You see Richie Escalante here on the number 54 from Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki. It was 11th on the time charts after Q1, but we just saw in the Supersport qualifying session that there is some improvement out there.
Yeah, there's improvement, and yesterday in that first qualifier, the track got pretty good for these guys. Toward the end, they was able to get down into the 22s and 23s, which is, just a couple seconds off the track record. So I think for them, they're going to wait and see, again, kind of wait for this track to continue to get better. Richie struggled yesterday, so he might try to get out a little bit earlier and, get some laps in. I know sometimes breaking in brake pads, sometimes I would do that in conditions, and other riders do that in conditions like this when you're going slow, and then when the track's really good, you don't have to wait a couple laps as you bed those in.
If you're joining us here on YouTube, this is bonus coverage from our full day coverage on MotoAmerica Live Plus, which is the only place where you can watch all of these qualifying sessions and all of the races live in their entirety. We have 5 different classes here at New Jersey Motorsports Park on this championship weekend. If you don't have an account already, go ahead and go to MotoAmericaLivePlus.com and get your account set up for these last 2 days of the 2024 championship season. See the number 76 there of Loris Baz, who was our provisional pole sitter after that first qualifying session yesterday. And he kept it all into perspective afterwards, saying you don't get any bonus points for qualifying on pole. It's only the first session. But for him, it was a big moment. You see, look at that shirt. You think those two are friends? Josh Herron all over the t-shirt?
I think there's some photos that didn't maybe make that shirt.
It's been a fun season watching them. Their relationship, their bromance develop over the course of the season. You saw that big smile on his face. Everybody there just really enjoying the progress. Let's take a look at this track map, Roger, as all these riders get up to speed for this qualifying session.
Yeah, it's a really fun track, but it's really tight down into turn 1, up over 2. Really fast chicane all the way into turn 4, fast hairpin through there. Then turn 5, really hard braking, one of the best passing spots here down into 6, 7, super long right-hander, and then it gets really tight down into 9, 10. From there, you start getting a run all the way through 11, 8 through 12 onto the front straightaway. Really tight, really fun little track.
It's been completely repaved since the last time that we were here also, so we're expecting in dry conditions some big improvements in lap times. Take a look at this instant 360 footage from yesterday.
Yeah, and this is Cam headed out the pits there up over turn 2. You can see it's got a little elevation. You know, can't really see that in the videos. And here's that chicane right here, turn 3. They call it 3A into 3B. Next one, 3C. The shortcuts there on the left, you can see if you want to cut straight through it, but you can't do that even on the out or in lap. Come up over this little rise right here. Superbikes will try to wheelie over that really fast turn 4 right through here, and then into 5, which is hard braking. You can make a pass into here and get up the inside of a rider, kind of make a little bit of a block pass. We've also seen some accidents there in the rain out of turn 5, and you drive out of here into 6. A really flat right-hander, but a really far corner. If you can get through here really well, you can maybe make a pass into this next really long right-hander. You're on the side of the tire for so long through here. You almost try to get in tight and drift up, and then try to make it like straight from here to get off the edge of that tire to try to save that tire to a Superbike race, and then into turn 9. Really tight corner. Hard not to outbrake yourself into this corner, especially when you're out qualifying. Trying to get a good lap into turn 10. Really important corner here. This starts your whole drive leading onto the front straightaway. The exit out of here, you're trying to get a good run out of 10 and straight line this as much as possible. So physical through this part of the track on a Superbike. Going through there so fast, wide open, changing directions into this last corner.
You can see the huge investment New Jersey Motorsports Park made as Cameron Beaubier took us around, and all of that fresh pavement, the new curbing, all of the paint, guardrails pushed back in turn number 1. The front straightaway widening out, so there's no more funneling going into turn 1. It's a huge, huge improvement for everybody here. I love these instant 360 shots, so it's been cool to see them at each of the different tracks that we go to aboard different bikes in various different classes, Roger, and you really see how much they move around.
Yeah, I like it too. You can kind of see more of the elevation on camera that you can't see sometimes on the video. I really like it. Also, it shows how much the riders are working.
See Josh Herron walking around. 21 minutes in this qualifying session. Nobody out there on the racetrack right now. Nobody's taking advantage of this as the track continues to dry. See Cameron Beaubier, 46 points back, sitting in second place right now. The only thing he can do this season is win.
We're going to do a walk and talk.
Poor Cameron Beaubier, just having a little bit of fun here this morning, relaxing a little bit. Had to sit out a couple of races. If you're wondering why Cameron Beaubier was 46 points back, he didn't compete in all of the races. Yeah,
just a big injury there at MotoAmerica, actually in the wet there. Breaking his heel, so he missed the 2 races that weekend. And so, but for Cam, missed a lot of races, but he's trying to fight his way back.
Well, the riders are down there on pit lane. Let's go down to pit lane with Joe.
Thanks, Jamie. Yes, well, as you mentioned, all the riders are here on pit lane. The rain is starting to fall, so there's this constant question mark over whether to use the wets, the slicks, and I think that conversation is still happening as the track gets a little bit damp. Now, Warhorse Ducati right alongside me. Oh, what a mood it was inside in the paddock, in amongst the team yesterday. Loris Baz, I was with his father, showing me his number 76 tattoo.
Session, Joe, and you see up on the clock, there's less than 20 minutes remaining without anybody going out. What are the teams thinking right now, Roger?
They're just waiting, and the track is starting to drizzle right now as well. So if they don't think it's going to be any better going into toward the end of this qualifying, because they were so quick yesterday, and we've seen how fast the track changed in that Supersport qualifier. The last 5 minutes of that session, you could go from pole position all the way outside the top 10. So I think a lot of these guys are just going to wait and see if they think the track, and you kind of wait for the next guy to go out, a guy that's, you know, outside the top 3 rows, who's kind of pressured to go out there and try to get a really good qualifier and see what their lap times can be.
See all the fan activities here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's one of the great things about MotoAmerica race weekends. There's something for everybody over in the fan zone. All of the promoters, all of the tracks that we work with throughout the season. Everybody does such a great job working together to make sure everyone comes out here and is entertained. You see the number 40, Sean Dillon Kelly's this top pro motorsports bike out here on pit lane. Different paint scheme than what we saw back at Circuit of the Americas for those 3 races. What a great weekend he had there, being able to get his first win in Superbike. Roger, let's take a look back.
Yeah, just a great weekend for Sean. The whole weekend, very first practice, he was very fast. He was right there in all the races. As we go back to race 2 there, Cam Beaubier and Josh Herring, look at them going into turn 1. Both those guys were really aggressive. See, Sean showed the pace. He had this pace at Mid-Ohio as well. The big important part is get out with those 3 guys and hang on as they start to try to break away, and that's what he did. Move right here on Josh Herring, ran a little bit wide, but was able to hold the lead there, and it's a lot of pressure. And then Cam Beaubier tries to make a move as well. That's the thing, you try to make a pass on the rider in front of you, but you don't want to lose a spot to the rider right there behind you, and they kind of went back and forth this whole race. But Sean did a great job when he was in the lead, setting the pace. He was able to do the lap times. He wasn't just following these guys. I think he gained confidence every single lap. Every lap you lead, you kept the guys behind you, the championship guys. As you see Cam Beaubier making a mistake there, the long back straightaway. See here, look at Josh Herring making a move on Cam Beaubier as well. Cam's mistake. Josh and Cam kind of had this battle mid-race, and you can see them going back and forth, and what that did to Sean Dillon Kelly. You see that gap that Sean has, and then Cam's able to finally get past Josh Herring and then put some really good laps in, some breaking laps, and able to chase Sean back down. And as the race started winding down, trying to find a spot to make the move, he makes it on the inside. Sean's going to try to fight back. This is a long drive down that back straightaway into the last corner. Sean's able to make the pass. It's a couple years. It's great to see him get that win. He works hard. He deserves it. That top pro racing, the whole team, his whole crew. It's so hard to win these Superbike races, and they were able to do that.
The emotion that we saw out of him was so refreshing that day. Take a look. These were the race 2 results. Sean Dillon Kelly with that first Superbike win. Cameron Beaubier, he won twice, but was able to also finish on the podium. And then Josh Herring just continuing to pick up championship points.
Yeah, and that's what Josh just kept getting the points. Good podium for him. Loris Baz, Bobby Fong rounding out the top 5.
Was all the riders are still on pit lane here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Let's go ahead and hear from Sean Dillon Kelly with Joe.
Yes, I am over here with Sean Dillon Kelly. Smiles as always, Sean. You've been out there on the track already. We're almost standing in puddles. So you tell me from your perspective what it is feeling like out there.
Yeah, track conditions are super tricky. It's not good enough for rain tires because it's quite dry, but it's not good enough for slicks either. So that's why we're on the pits right now. It's not worth the risk, and especially, we already qualified yesterday. So there's definitely no time to improve in these conditions. We'll see what happens in the next 15 minutes, but I don't think we're going to see many laps right now.
7th fastest yesterday. I know coming off of that great win you had in the last round that you want to build off of that. So, I'm sure you want to get on the front row. What are you hoping for out of today's session?
Yeah, no, I don't think 7 says anything at all. I think all it says is that we definitely screwed up the strategy. I was feeling good. I was first, second, practically the whole session yesterday, and I pit in 5 minutes to go and just never got a lap in after that, and that's when the track conditions were at its best. Everyone got good laps in, and yeah, it was a silly mistake for sure, but whatever, we're still learning, and like I said, definitely don't think 7 shows our potential, and definitely not how I'm feeling, because I was feeling great in those tricky conditions. So we'll see. If I got to start from 7th, I got to start from 7th, and it's going to make for an interesting race.
You mentioned learning. This is your rookie season in Superbikes. We're all so impressed with you. Reflections on how it's gone and how you would like to close it out.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been an amazing season. Obviously coming into back into MotoAmerica, but stepping up to the Superbike class, it was a big challenge, but with a lot of goals, and I think we achieved a lot of them, and maybe even a little bit more than expected. So super excited, and just looking forward to, like you said earlier, just keep that momentum to today, and honestly just finish off the weekend enjoying, and mainly focus on the next year, which I think will be a great one.
Indeed. Well, 2 races left to go of 2024. Best of luck. Back to you, Jamie and Roger.
Thank you, Joe. Interesting to hear that perspective from Sean Dillon Kelly about messing up their strategy yesterday. Superbike Cup also in their championship fight. You see Danilo Lewis currently leading the Superbike Cup points, but only 10 points now over second place of Ashton Yates.
Yeah, Ashton's put together really strong last 5 races and able to close down this points, and now it comes down to the last race, only 10 points. So this is a big championship for these riders. A lot of money at stake for Danilo and Ashton Yates as well. So, you know, we got the battle at the front with Josh Herron, Cam Beaubier, but there's one just as hot and heavy there with Superbike Cup.
If you're new to MotoAmerica, just joining us for the first time, Superbike Cup, it's stock 1000 spec motorcycles that are able to be out there on the same track with the Superbike riders. So it's their own separate championship. Nolan Lampkin, you see there sitting in third. Yesterday, he had one of the Insta360 cameras.
Yeah, and Nolan's had a great year as well. And, you know, really the thing when you hear a lot of riders talk about this track where it's hard to pass, you can kind of see, you know, not being as big through this fast right-hander as they go up over the hill. And what makes that turn 5 one of the passing spots is you get a good run through here, and then it can kind of put you out on the outside. So for Nolan, you see the rider behind him there, how you can kind of sneak up the inside there if you need to make a pass. You see the track conditions right here where it's wet. You can see how the riders are a lot faster. Where right through here where the track starts breaking up, you know, you wonder, how do they know when the track's getting better or when it's drying out? When you can see it starting to break through the pavement there, and then you know the track is really starting to dry really quick.
For Nolan Lampkin, this weekend is his final weekend as the reigning Superbike Cup champion, having won that title last year. It's a great shot of the body control that these riders have, Roger.
Yeah, and through here, this is so much work on a Superbike, right? Wide open, and you click 4th gear right here, and you're trying to go back to the left. Setting up in this last really fast, long right-hander is so important because you're trying to get a run out of there, get in the draft, even though it's not a long straightaway. And this is the other best passing zone on the brakes down into turn 1. And then this, one of my favorite corners is this turn 2, the elevation. You can't see on the other side of here until you're up over, you hit your mark, and you know you're going to end up right on that curve.
Riders all love coming here to New Jersey Motorsports Park, and it's great to get these onboard sights here with the Insta360 cameras. Still don't have any bikes out on the racetrack in this second qualifying session. The clock continues to tick down. We just hit the 10 minutes remaining in this qualifying session here this morning. Go back live. Oh, we have Brandon Posh now taking to the racetrack. For Brandon, what could be the goal here, Roger?
Just, you know, he missed a little bit early on in the session yesterday morning when the track was wet. So he might be out there just trying to get some laps in the wet, and just in case it is wet when we go racing this weekend. He only got yesterday morning only a couple laps toward the end of the first practice, and this is the way the track conditions were, so I'm sure he wants to go out and see this track in the wet, because if it rains before one of these races, they're not going to have the opportunity to see the track wet because they've had a wet session. So I think he's just trying to get out there and get some laps in, make up for the time that they missed yesterday. What a great day yesterday for Brandon Posh, ending up on the provisional front row.
And with not a lot of takers here in the second qualifying session, he could remain there on the front row, which would be a great start position for him. His final race weekend of the season. We heard Sean Dillon Kelly talk about it, that at the end of the session yesterday, a lot of the riders were able to post their best times, and Brandon Posh was one of those riders.
Yeah, and this is a track, Brandon home track, has a lot of laps and able to, and you know, you go back to Coda, that third race, he made huge strides. I mean, dropped a lot of time, so obviously I think they found something with the setup there in that third race, and come here to a track that he really knows and is able to come, be able to get a really good qualifier And man, that just starts your weekend off. We talk about riders all the time, having a good Friday. They mentioned it. We got to start strong. And Brandon had a really good Friday, and hopefully that's just a jump start throughout the whole weekend.
It came off of the 3 races that we had back at Circuit of the Americas, which it was hot and it was a tough challenge for a lot of the riders, but then you also have riders who just needed laps. They needed some consistency and something to work with, and Brandon Posh is one of the riders that were able to take advantage of that. On that provisional pole right now after that first qualifying session yesterday is Loris Baz. He's still down on pit lane. Let's hear from him with Joe.
Loris, you obviously had that stunning session yesterday, provisional pole. What is the strategy today? I see you here on pit lane.
Well, they just told me that Matt Mladin was gonna come and see me, so I just say I don't want to ride. I just want to meet the legend. So, no, I mean we don't want to take any risks. Just checking who's riding and the lap time they do, and if we see they're getting close to the lap time from yesterday, we're gonna go out. But I don't feel like it's gonna be like that. So hopefully I can keep that pole, and we'll see what the weather brings for this afternoon. That's really tricky condition, to be honest. Yesterday was fun riding the bike, but it's really stressful as well because it was this kind of weather where it starts to rain and go away one lap to the other. So you have to be really focused to see how the condition improve. And yeah, hopefully I can keep that pole and we have a good race this afternoon.
Talking of fun, it was so much fun being here with your father and with the team when you took that pole. There's a lot on the line for this team this weekend. What is the mood and the atmosphere amongst you all?
Oh, it's really cool, same as always. Obviously, I think Josh is a bit more, tense than it could be the rest of the weekend. But we just had fun, big barbecue yesterday, and yeah, just having fun. I made a special shirt for him today to make him laugh in the morning, so he's not thinking about that. And yeah, I mean, just the overall mood that we had all season when, you can hear a lot of teams saying it's a family, but it's always like kind of a war that everybody uses. But I feel like we are really a family, and I just try to make his day a little bit easier. I know it's stressful, and yeah, hopefully everything is much easier for him after race 1 this afternoon.
Tell me about this special T-shirt I see over here.
That's the T-shirt.
Tell me about this one.
Well, I mean, just all the picture that, well, not all because I cannot show everything, obviously, but the nice picture that we had this season, 4th of July, the only training session I made him like a run. I think that's he went running only one time this year, and then some party that we had 4th of July, and yeah, just and you can see the athlete body that he got. So I'm really jealous of George because he's the only guy that can race and be strong at the end of the race without training, and I have to train every single day of the year to be able to stay on the bike. So yeah, just he's lucky with that.
Sounds like you have a fantastic camaraderie amongst this team. Best of luck, Loris.
It is such a mental sport, Roger. It's something that gets overlooked oftentimes, but you hear Loris talk about, I just want to make his day easier. Talking about Josh Herrin and the stress of going for this championship title, even with that points lead that Josh does have. Loris woke up and wanted to make the day better for his friend. We have a couple of bikes that are now trying to get up to speed out on the racetrack, but before we go out there, let's go back and talk to Ashton Yates with Joe.
Ashton, yes, well, you are 10 points off the leader, Danilo Lewis, in the Superbike Cup. Tell me how your mindset is going into this championship weekend.
Yeah, just pretty much do what I've been doing every weekend, just ride well and stay comfortable, be smart, and bring it home. So just try to get a good start and maybe latch on to those Superbike guys and keep a good pace, and yeah. That's about it.
Have you got the family out with you? Your father, of course. We've seen him at recent races, and I'm sure your family are right behind you to try and take this title.
Yeah. My dad, my granddad, and uncle, and everyone's out here, and yeah, it'd be pretty special to make that happen this weekend. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, this weather kind of, isn't so crazy here this afternoon. But I'm looking forward to whatever, really. So.
Excellent, and we know your granddad's name is Lucky as well, so best of luck for later. Back to you, Jamie and Roger.
Yates, what he's been able to do over the last couple of races in Superbike Cup standings, Roger, it's been nothing short of miraculous. Over the last 5 races, he's made up 33 points.
Just riding so well, not only in Superbike Cup, but Stock 1000, been a podium guy, got his first win. So he just really made a huge stride in his his racing, and it's starting to really show this year. You know, won that race in Stock 1000, but you go back to Brainerd, he led that whole race till the last lap. So he's got one win, but he's been in the fight to win a few more.
See some riders out there in this final qualifying session. Steel Commander Superbike, there's the number 45, Cameron Peterson. He's done a couple outlaps, in-laps, set on pit lane for most of the session, now under 3 minutes remaining on the time board. But for himself and Xavi Flores, his teammate here at the end of the season, just going out and logging some laps.
Yeah, logging some laps, and you know, there could be a few different things that's going on. It could be, you know, they want to just check the track again in these conditions in case it's like that in the race this afternoon or tomorrow. Or also, you know, sometimes, you know, when a team might change something overnight, a clutch or an engine or something with the motor, they want the rider to get out and get a couple laps and bring it in and look at it. So it could be a couple different things. To maybe they want to bed something in that needs a couple laps, but I don't think they're going out there definitely trying not to improve their time from yesterday. Just got some things they want to get dialed in before the race this afternoon.
And for Xavi Flores, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience on this Yamaha, filling in for Jake Gagne these final 2 rounds, while Jake gets himself better and closer to being able to ride the way he'd like to for next season.
And not only experience from the bike, but zero experience in the wet. So that's going to be, you know, another thing for him to just get some laps in the wet.
Some other riders that are out there. We saw Brandon Posh earlier, but here's the number 95 of JD Beach, also taking advantage of these last couple of minutes.
He's a guy that likes to rain. You know, always, you go back to Road Atlanta or last year, race 2, won it here in the wet, filling in for Cam Peterson. You go back to Road Atlanta this year, that second race, it just how, oh, and JD is down in that last corner. Such a fast crash. I was just talking to him yesterday, and he mentioned there's a sealer spot into that last corner where the front end tucks. Man, it's just, when you're struggling for confidence and you have these little crashes, it's just hard to get it. Every time you get closer, you have a little crash.
See JD up and trying to get that bike refired. See if he can get it going, and he is now in motion. Let's take a look at some of these replays, Roger.
Yeah, just in the last corner, you just see the front end. As soon as he started the turn in, down he went. You can see, we talk about how you slide further in the wet. You see when he gets in the grass, look how far he slides. It's almost like a slip inside there. Luckily, they added, you know, from the first time we came, some runoff there. But look at the front end. As soon as he went over that sealer, you can see it right there, that little shiny spot. Went over that sealer, lost the front end, and in the wet, it goes so fast, you don't have the opportunity to save it.
Just slides across. You can see some of the body work there breaking off of that bike, so the team's going to have some work to do before we get ready for racing this afternoon. So listen. Real-time audio from those Audio-Technica microphones all around this racetrack, really giving you not just, we have beautiful pictures, but now we can hear everything that happens too.
Yeah, and sometimes on the, as we see there, it looks like the red flags maybe popped up. No, it didn't. The thing is, you can sometimes with the Audio-Technica microphones now, because you heard when we did the audio when he crashed, and you can hear the motor. Sometimes I hear somebody crashing in our headset. I don't know exactly where it's at, but I know somebody's crashed because I know that sound. I know that sound a little too well.
Checker flag has now flown here on this qualifying session for Steel Commander Superbike. Everyone was chasing the time from yesterday, much better conditions, not wanting to go out there and take the risk here this morning. We did not have very many takers at all. As we're going to take a look at the combined results, we'll see how everybody stacks up and how the grid will be set for these final 2 races of this championship season. See Loris Baz there maintaining the pole position he set yesterday. Cameron Beaubier on the front row alongside with Brandon Posh.
And you got Josh Herron, Cam Peterson, Xavi Flores, Sean Dillon Kelly, Bobby Fong, JD Beach, Benjamin Smith.
Those are our top 10, but you also have Richie Escalante with Richard Kerr, Max Splenders, and then Ezra Beaubier will be out there as well. It all came down to going for it at the end of the day yesterday, that first qualifying session. Not knowing what today was going to hold, riders taking full advantage. We're going to take advantage of this opportunity in between sessions. We're going to step away. We'll be back with more right after this.
This track has promoted more pro motorcycle racers than any track